my TDI swap diesel Ranger, and it's the best combination you could put in one of these small trucks. Truck you've seen all over the internet. First off, it's a 1999 Ford Ranger. It's got a 2006 bed, a 2000 cab. It's kind of like a Frankenstein truck, but the neat stuff's under the hood. This is a 2000 Volkswagen TDI motor. It's the ALH. So this TDI motor is hooked up to the original Ranger 5-speed with an adapter plate from TD Conversions. Everything works as it should. Nothing was skimped by putting this motor in this truck. Four-wheel drive works. All the gauges work. Everything works as if nothing has changed. All right, everybody asked me about what is done to the engine. Believe it or not, this engine is completely stock. Other than a front mount intercooler, that's twice the size as what comes on the TDIs. And a turbo from X-Man Turbos. And it's not bigger, it's just the European model. And it has a billet wheel. But other than that, no tunes, completely stock, and it runs way better than a stock Ranger. As for wiring, it's a standalone system that still is integrated with the Ranger. So the ECU is located here for the engine. These two relays here and those 4 fuses is all that runs this engine. And all the information for the gauges is tapped right into where the Ranger would get its information from. So that means that the gauges work, four-wheel drive works, everything works on this motor. So for the cooling system, I went with the original Ranger radiator, and it's just plumbed up to where it would on the TDI. The only difference is it's a closed system now. Another question I get is power steering. So if anyone's owned a Ford, you know that power steering pumps like to whine. So I didn't want that, so I'm using the TDI power steering pump, and all it's doing is hooked right up to the rack and pinion of the Ford Ranger, and that's how my power steering works. So I get a lot of questions about how this truck looks. First is the headlights. These are off a 2002 and newer headlight. But since I have a 99, I have these side markers here. So I used a front clip off a newer Ranger that works with these headlights and kind of made a custom mount for those so it would work. Everyone asked about the grill. I made it myself. You can't buy it. But I just took a stock Ranger grill, cut out the middle, and added the mesh. Everyone wants to know where I got this. This is an original Lund moon visor. Found it in a junkyard, and there's a guy on eBay that makes or 3D prints these custom lens caps that are smoked. So that's pretty cool. Now it depends who you are, but everyone gives me love or hate for the stack. Personally, I put the stack on there because I want people to know this is a diesel. If I was to run the exhaust at the side, you just think it's running bad. Unfortunately, I couldn't do a hood stack. I wanted to do a hood stack, but I think a giant stack really kind of shows people that it's not just your average Ranger.
Take a look.
Yeah. For the exhaust, it's a 2.5-inch down pipe to a 3-inch pipe, straight pipe, all the way back to the 7-inch stack. So no restriction there. These taillights are the eBay special taillights. Nothing too crazy about that. Now, I can't stress this enough. This is my daily driver. I commute this truck for 2 hours every single day. I use this truck. It is phenomenal. Gas mileage is phenomenal. In the city, I usually get 30 miles per gallon. If I really am easy on it, highway, I get 40 miles per gallon. So it makes sense for me to commute this to work. And it is a work truck. There is tools, it gets used. But overall, fantastic. So for anyone asking, the wheel and tire setup, these are 17 by 10 fuel wheels wrapped in BFG Goodrich 31s with 2-inch spacers. And here's my favorite touch of the truck. So here's my little sticker, and also I can accommodate any size diesel pump, including the truck stop pumps. So it's kind of fun to go to truck stops and fill up there. So this is actually my first diesel truck, and this winter really taught me about how diesel fuel freezes. So this is not a block heater. This is simply just heating my fuel lines because they do freeze up, unfortunately. And for the fuel system, we're using the stock Ranger tank, and I took out the fuel pump and just ran a straw to the bottom of the tank, and it pulls its own fuel via the injection pump. So it has a in and an out and a fuel filter, and that's it for the fuel system. Yeah. So I guess the biggest misconception about this truck build is it really better than a stock Ranger? So you all have seen the outside of the truck, but no one's really seen the inside of the truck, and that's where, when I built this truck, I put a lot of effort into the interior because I thought, since I'm having to do all this work up here, might as well make it comfortable on the road. Check it out. So the Ranger, as you know, it comes with 60/40 seats. I didn't want that, so I picked up a couple seats from a Ford Escape from the junkyard, so I can have 2 pilots or captain seats, and I made a custom center console. So if you saw that steering wheel, you might notice it's not a Ranger steering wheel. That is another find from the junkyard. It's from a 2017 Focus ST. Now, of course, the buttons don't work, but I think it looks a lot better than the Ranger steering wheels. So, as for the gauges, I put the Ford
Explorer?
Yeah, the Ford Explorer.
The Sport Edition, though.
Yeah,
right?
the Sport Edition.
Because the white ones only came in Sport Edition Explorers, I do believe.
Yes, that is true. And there is an EGT gauge here, and on the other side is a boost gauge. So a big thing with TDI swaps is the fly-by-wire throttle pedal. So if you look down there, that throttle pedal is off the Jetta, and that's